Welcome to the Spiritual Highways podcast with Leigh Ann and Michelle.
Hey friend.
Hello, hello.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm a little jealous.
Why?
Because I didn't get to go to the vision board class at Cleanse.
You know what? I would have never done, like, it's great in theory, but that is something I never would have done.
Like on your own?
No. Like, that would never have reached my, I'm going to go get some magazines. For one, I don't have magazines. And I just, and I've told you how many times, we need to make a dream board or a vision board. And I just never would have done it. And so I'm really glad that we did. Thank you to Tenny and Chris. Tenny's from Cleanse, and Chris
Taught the class,
and it was wonderful. And we all sat around, and we cut out little things. Of course, I did not finish mine because I was still cutting, So Casey and I were that night. It was it was Sunday night. So while the Super Bowl's going on, and everybody's like, obviously watching J-Lo and Shakira dance. Right. We were doing our vision boards, and so she and I were supposed to be going over our yoga, and but I'm like, I have to finish this dream board. But I love it. It's great. It makes me
I saw your
happy.
picture. You showed me the picture of the board, and it is so pretty, and it makes me happy for you. And I'm completely jealous that I didn't get to go.
No, well, don't be jealous, because I made it a circle and it wasn't big enough, and I had more little papers cut out.
You had more vision than space?
Yes.
That's awesome.
So
it's good to have that problem rather than too much space.
Right.
And not enough vision.
Yeah. Well, I had this great image of this, like, cute little girl, and she was, in lotus position. Oh, it's just really cute. And I ended up having to cover her up because I'm like, you're just wasting space, lady. So move
You're
it
adorable,
along.
but
Yep.
I've got bigger fish to fry.
So I definitely want to do it again. So maybe we'll have a
She'll probably teach another class, don't you think?
Oh, I'm sure. I hope so. But it was great. It was one of those things that I never would have made time for, but I'm really glad that I did. I never realized how much joy it brings me. Like, I hung it in a frame in my room, and I just since I've done it, it's like I look at it and I'm going, this brings me so much joy. It really, really does. Not to mention, I really haven't gotten in the studio and painted at all. And so to be creative, I forgot how much of a...
That makes you happy.
Oh, wow. Well, that definitely fills my cup. And I guess I've forgotten that because I've really stayed so busy doing other things that I haven't done that. So it was really nice to be creative. I actually slept better than I have in a while that night.
That's a good side effect.
Maybe it was the glue. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. But
Were you sniffing glue?
No.
That might be why it took you longer.
Nah.
Just kidding.
But hey, there's times where I would have sniffed some glue.
As long as you're not eating the glue, I think we're okay.
Yeah. But it was just a little glue stick. Yeah. But anyways, so I'm totally up for that. Don't have magazines, but we can borrow some. So it's great. Yeah. I had a good time.
Very cool.
We missed you. I'm sorry that you weren't able to make it.
I know. It just didn't work
she'll
out.
do it again.
Yeah,
Yes.
I hope she will. I'm waiting for her next nature class.
Yes. Oh, I'm looking forward to that too. Mm-hmm. I want to be one of those weird people that are laying down looking at the... Oh, yeah, I already am that person.
That's me already.
Yeah. I already like doing that. So there's that. Well, how are you?
I'm good. Rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
That's the way life goes sometimes.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. So...
I did find my journal.
Really?
No, let me rephrase that. Not find it. I opened it.
Okay.
From yoga. From this last yoga series.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
So I didn't make the last couple of classes. I had some stuff happen that just didn't allow me to go. And so I hadn't opened my journal. And I opened it, and I had written it. Like, I'm not great at, like, journaling for pages and pages.
That's okay.
It's just, like, might be a couple of sentences. And one of the things, I complimented your meditation that night. One of them was, like, I really love this meditation. I think you were focusing on different areas of our body in the meditation. Yeah. And I really enjoyed that. And because it gave me a path to follow.
I'm glad.
Like, I think, like, it was, like, a logical...
You needed the direction?
I needed the direction, yeah. And then I knew where I was going. Like, I might not know which body part was next, but I knew that...
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, it made me feel comfortable. I mean, not that I'm uncomfortable, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
mentally.
You knew what to expect.
Yes. And so... But I wrote in there, and I don't know... But it was just like this little epiphany, because it was a class where I got really emotional. Like,
that happens.
Like, I know. But when it was emotional, because you were like hopping all over the place, making sure we had our blankets and our bolsters where they needed to be. And at one moment, like, you came and you pressed down on my lower back. So I guess would go deeper into that stretch. And I teared up, and I'm like, she's doing this just for me. Like, she's just, and it was healing, because you were touching me to help me in a pose, and I did not have to reciprocate. I did not have to touch you back. You wanted nothing from me. You were just there to help me. And I think it was like a light bulb went off, like, why it's so healing. Yes, you're aligning your body, and you're focusing on your breathing, and you're focusing on all of these connections, but also, like, when you go around and you're spotting these people, I think it's the same as, like, in a massage or a facial. Someone is touching you to help you, and you don't have to do anything in return. And I think that is really a healing moment.
I'm so glad, because that's a lot of, we had a lady that asked, she's like, well, why do you touch on us or push on us? And I said, there's certain times where, yes, we're moving you in alignment, we're helping you to get deeper into the stretch or whatnot. But sometimes it's just to love on you. Sometimes it's just to tuck the blanket in this restorative class, for sure, to make you cozy and to make you, because that was supposed to be for you to be able to, open up and to feel yourself and to love yourself. And so you needed to be tended to in that process. So I'm really glad that
it's nice to be tended to.
Yeah.
Like, that's
especially
the thing
when
that
you
really,
tend to everybody else.
I guess so, because it just felt like you knew what I needed before I knew, like, you came and, like, put the blanket where it needed to be, and I teared up a little. I got emotional. So,
well, but I'm glad that you realized that. I'm glad that we were able to help you with that too. And the same thing goes for, like in certain, like when they're in savasana and we're having to manipulate your arms and kind of put them in a more restful spot. I need complete control of your arm, and so many people want to give me their arm, and I'm like. I whispered to him, no, give it to me. Let me have it. And to where I can have control, you just lay there and let me tend to you.
Yeah.
And so the girl that I was assisting in this afterwards, she's like, I just didn't, it was hard for her to release that control and to feel safe. But then, by the time I got to the second arm and the leg, and she gave it to me. And
it's almost like to be a rag doll, and just, I will position you where you need to go. Like, you just keep breathing. Mm-hmm. I'll take care of everything else.
But I could totally tell that in her, and I even asked her, I said, you take care of everybody, don't you? And she says, yeah. So the same thing for you. You are a caretaker, and and so that was
your gut reaction is, no, I got it. I'll help you.
Yeah.
I can help you. Yeah.
No, that's great. So I'm really glad I'm really glad to see that you were journaling, and I'm really glad to see that.
That's a huge thing for me.
Well, it's Spirit. I always say they have heaven must have school, because there's lessons for the month, and I guess for the past couple months it was really geared towards many of the messages had a lot to do with writing to help to expose some of the pains and the wounds that were from your past. And so I'll give you an example. I had some people that see me will if they have any questions or anything, they'll sometimes reach back out to me. What was a gentleman that he was told, in his message he was told that yes, it would be helpful and beneficial. The insight he received was to write and to go back on his past. Well, he sent me a message and he said, I'm really struggling because I'm writing and I'm doing all these things. but I'm angry. I'm angry at my father. And he says, and then at the same time, I feel bad for him at the same time. But I'm angry, and it's leaving me kind of like all over the place, and I'm either sad or happy, and so the advice that I was guided to give him was that he needed to keep writing, because the anger and those emotions have all been there. They've just been suppressed. And so by writing, they've got to come up in order to be freed. So he's freeing them with the paper. And Spirit also led me to have an understanding that as he clears the anger and the emotions, as these things leave and are let go, he's going to see more empathy for his father. Even if his father was in the wrong, it's because his perspective has changed. And it's cleared up all the space that was being filled with these anger and pain and sadness and all these heavy emotions that had, made this huge hole. As they're clearing up, now you have a huge space to fill with so many more wonderful emotions, right, and positive experiences.
We talked about that last episode, was working through darkness frees up space for love and light. We did. Well, because
I'm glad you remember.
I remember that quote, and we shared that quote, and so it makes me remember that. But this is like a real life example of that.
Oh yes, and this happens often. And okay, let me stop right there, because of course I start out anytime I speak, I usually seek professional help too. A Spirit offers guidance, and it is, it's cherished and it's wonderful. But sometimes there reaches a point where you may need to go deeper, and
it's okay to have
this is a guide.
Counseling sessions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, if you're journaling, you can actually go to a counselor and be like, look, this is where I'm at. This is what I've worked on.
Right.
That you're getting to the meat of it before you even.
Right.
And I will say, in that moment, for this person's example, that with his dad, sometimes the anger, like you have the anger of what actually went on, but then when you're discovering empathy, then you're angry because I don't know how to respond to the empathy I'm feeling. Like, do I do something with it? Am I supposed to act a certain way? You can start. There are other emotions that come into play for different reasons. Guilt for feeling angry.
Right.
Like, there's a lot that happens, and so it is good to maybe seek someone. If you can't work through it on paper, then absolutely get someone involved to help you process it.
But in order for things to leave, in order for these things that we hold inside, for them to come out, they have to come out one way or the other.
Right.
They're going to come out in the paper, but they have to come out in your mind first.
Well, and also that is very important when talking to anyone, professional writing. You have to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be honest. If you're going to write it, be honest with what you're writing. If you're going to talk to a professional, be honest about how you're feeling. Because if you can't do that one thing,
right,
it's going to be hard to work through anything if you can't first deal with that one core thing, is being honest about what's happening.
Like nobody's looking.
Yeah.
Or going to read it. And if they are, go burn it. I know we talked about that before.
Yeah, we did.
But yes, you definitely have to be honest with yourself and be patient during that process. I know that a lot of times people become eager. They take on all of these new things. They read new books. They start, even journaling. Okay, go home and journal. They think you have to sit down and you have to take on all of these new things that you learn in one day. And it doesn't work that way. And I have a perfect example. I was just having this conversation during a reading, and this woman she was trying to do everything. Like, she's gotten all this information, all these tools, and she's wanting to apply them all at one time. And you can't do that. One, your brain and your mind has to have time to absorb the information that it's given. And two, you have to trust that everything that you're receiving, you're going to be able, you're going to recall it in the moment that you're supposed to recall it. So here's where the cool part comes in. So at the end of this reading, we're just chatting, and I forgot what we were, while we had brought it up, but she says, well, have you ever heard of, and I hope I don't, Wim Hof? He does like cold therapy. He's from Holland, and he's amazing, and he does like these deep breathing techniques, and then through this breathing, and it alkalines your body, he then will take these people that have never done this before and have them swim in like 30-degree water and do so awesome. Effortlessly. And so it's come up in so many conversations, and I said, well, I just recently watched something on that, and she's like, no, I've heard about him years ago, which was a perfect example of what Spirit was trying to show her was, see, you learned that forever ago, and when you needed it,
you recalled it and shared it.
Right. And so,
and some tools that you learn might not be meant for you to use, but for you to pass on to someone else.
Correct.
I mean, you might need it.
Yeah.
And you'll have it if you ever do, but sometimes sharing is why you have it.
Right. So I feel like listen to yourself, and you'll know what things you need to apply, or you need to work on, or you need to read it, let it go, let it be. I should say, don't let it go, but let it be. Mm-hmm. And then you'll recall it when it's time.
Right. Something can't come up, and then you take your whole toolbox and throw it at it, and think that it's going to process it or fix it or whatever.
Right.
Like,
you've developed
it's like getting a screwdriver and thinking a screwdriver is going to fix everything.
Right. Well, and it's like you didn't get these emotions overnight.
Right.
You didn't develop these feelings in the way that you're reacting. This was not a process that happened overnight. So there's a process to get rid of them. You can't, okay, I'm going to go home and I'm going to journal, and then tomorrow
and then I'll be fixed.
Tomorrow I'll be done. And then I'm just going to say this. The stuff that you think you're done with, you're like, oh yeah, I'm past that. Yep. Yep, you're not. Like, I do this for myself all the time. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm finished with that. No, there'll be that little lingering. It's like, where did this come from? It's crazy.
But it might be that you get to a plateau where you're like, okay, I'm done with it for now. Like I can rest with it right now. I don't have to keep I've processed enough.
Right.
And so your brain's like, okay, we can let that go for now.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it won't come back around and that you might have to address another layer.
Right.
But it means you're good for right now.
Right.
And you can focus on something else or...
Right. Stay PCT, present conscious time.
I know. That's directed at me. Thank you.
Yeah. I always, for the longest time, I wrote that on my hand, like every day, present conscious time.
I need to tattoo it.
Oh yeah. If I would get a tattoo, I would probably do it. I'm so scared to get a tattoo. Like, it's so permanent. And nothing is permanent. Really nothing is permanent. And
you can just use Sharpie and see how you like it.
Yeah, because here's my thing.
Let's do Sharpie.
If for some reason it was off, it would ruin my whole world.
Oh yeah, that would be tough.
It would, like, if one was crooked. I'm kind of obsessive compulsive when it comes to dumb things.
You need to do Sharpie.
Yeah. I can't commit to that long term thing. I mean, I just can't. I always said, like, growing up, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get it. And I'd get a tattoo, and then I'd say, okay, if I like this same thing again in 6 months, I'll get it. And I literally never
liked it.
I'm like, God, I'm glad I didn't do that. So, there's not anything I just...
Nothing No, Sharpie's good. Brought to you by Sharpie.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. But anyways, what the point is staying present. And it's just a reminder to stay present. Like, what's my reality right now? Which also brings me to another food for thought that brought to you by Spirit, was fear. Fear was a kind of a topic the past couple weeks as well in a lot of readings. And whether it be fear of moving forward or fear of, going on an elevator, it could be many different fears. But we have this, when fear kicks in, it's like it kicks off all of these different triggers and emotions. And for some people, it may be panic attacks, or, for others, they just may shut down and get completely quiet or whatnot. And the way Spirit has guided so many was that when you're in a moment and it's seemingly out of nowhere and you get this anxious thoughts and you really start to get kind of in a panic or fearful, for you to do a couple of things. And it was to take a couple of deep breaths and really focus on the breath, bringing, when you inhale, stomach goes out, exhale, stomach goes back in. Take a moment to breathe, allowing the thought in that moment to come. Like, I am scared to ride on this elevator. After you've breathed, after you're kind of brought your attention, then you ask yourself, what is the reality? And so, for my example, as I'm on an elevator, I am on an elevator that is inspected. It's safe. It's solid. And then you look around and start identifying and describing your surroundings. It's all silver. The bottom has wood paneling across the bottom part, section. The numbers on the buttons are illuminated. There's a box for fire rescue. If for some reason I am safe, all of these things, people. And so it's checking your reality, which is similar to present conscious time, but you're understanding the reality, because you're having to rewire in that moment. You're rewiring your brain to say, okay, here's my fear, and now I'm going to trump my fear with the reality of the fear. And so by kind of talking yourself down, I'm not saying that you're going to completely be like, yeah, let's go jump on this elevator. But you may stand on it and you may step off of it and say, maybe not today, I'm going to ride on it, but I stood on it today, because you were able to talk yourself to that point, And so that can be used in many different ways. Anytime you're talking about fear, anxiety, or even,
I will say another thing that comes up with anxiety is anger. A lot of times your anger stems from fear.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes you're really angry about something, but looking at what's beneath that, and it can be, you could feel anxious or nervous, but you could also feel anger. And so it's real important to figure out the why of, what is really driving my fear, or your reaction. It's just because I think about, sometimes I might get angry and it's out of being fearful, especially with your children, And so I don't know, that just,
well, it's a flight or flight, right?
Fight or flight, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, for me, getting on an elevator, I know that was an example, but for me, what helps me on an elevator, because I don't like riding on elevators at all.
Really?
Ugh, hate it.
Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I am like, okay, what's in my purse? I could survive on a piece of gum. Do I have a water bottle? No, I'm good. I have a phone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I literally, that's my mental check. I'm only going up one floor. While you were saying, looking at all this, I'm like, okay, if I check the knob, if I check all the buttons, look for the phone, like you were telling us to do, I'll probably get to the floor that I need to get to before I'm even done checking all those things. So that's a good thing too.
Right. That is a very good. That's a very good.
But yeah,
point.
I don't like riding in elevators.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
Interesting. I was trying to think of something that I didn't like, and I just don't know off the top of my head. I'm like, no, I can't even. I was trying to make you feel better, but nope. Sorry, but you luck.
No, it's all you, kid.
I definitely want to ride with you on an elevator then.
Thanks.
I feel like I have.
Let's make Michelle the guinea pig.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have we ridden on an elevator anymore?
Yeah, I think at the spiritual healing fair.
Nope.
You didn't come with me?
Not
upstairs?
on the elevator. I went up the stairs.
Oh. I
Okay.
did go with you, but up the stairs.
Yeah, I just thought
I just remember riding up and down because I couldn't find this particular room that I was looking for.
Oh.
And so I just kept going. And look, every one of them looked like The Shining. Like when I'd get to the end, it was just an empty
nope, this
hallway.
isn't
I'm
it.
like, nope, I'm not feeling this. Dink. Nope, this isn't it.
if
And
it's
you know
down
what?
there, I won't make it.
But the whole hotel was only like 4 stories. I know I must have ridden that thing 8 times. I know
and
I
none of the rooms were that way. They
No,
were in the wrong part
I
of the
was in
building.
Completely wrong part of the building. Which, like I said, after seeing a few of those hallways, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with it. Not that it wasn't dark or
Any
anything. but
long
just,
hallway is creepy.
Yeah, and just
I mean,
it just was staring back at me. I don't know. I just was like, I don't like this. So I should have checked my present reality. I did actually, and I pushed the button.
You found
Going
out-
down.
Yeah, going down.
Yes. Yes.
Feeling
yes.
better.
That's right. That's right. So, with that being said, I wanted to talk about manifesting
Okay.
a little bit because, and now, I mean, I actually want to do a whole episode on manifesting, but I do want to touch on something because it's a word and a saying that seems to be very popular right now, and so many people are talking about doing it. Like even the vision board, like you're manifesting all of these desires that you want. And I think we talked about in the last episode, maybe, I don't even remember what we talked about, but about making a decision of what you wanted. Like,
Yes, I think so. That sounds familiar.
yeah, if not, just make the decision. There you go. No, just kidding. No, I'm pretty sure we did. But
Like being focused and what you want.
Yeah, being direct.
Yeah.
So we talk about, creating your reality, and I'm making this vision board, or you're saying you want these things. But it's like a spirit put on my heart, like, but why? And it's like a light bulb went off, and it was, wait, why do I want these things? Is it the outcome that you're wanting? And can it be reached through can the result stem from a different reward? What I mean is, like, okay, say I want to be a CEO of a company. Is it because I want the respect from my, colleagues or employees, or is it the money? Okay, if it's the money, so what is that driving force behind it? Because maybe if it's respect, does it go deeper? Where does the respect come from? Or if it's money, why do you feel like you need? Where's that coming from? And
Not that that's a bad driving, but why?
But why?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we will work for something to achieve a reward for something that we really need to dig deeper in.
So, like, you get the job, you get the money, and you go, why am I not happy?
Exactly.
Because wasn't really the why. Like, it was pretty, and it
Yeah.
seemed really good, but it's not really fulfilling you. There's something under that.
Correct.
That you need to focus on.
Right. So by going deeper, you can really figure out what it is that what do you want to change? What is the feeling that you're wanting to get? What is the overall reward? What are you hoping to gain? And not just from this thing.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong at all with wanting success, money, respect, none of it.
No, but understanding the why is going to help you feel fulfilled once you get those things.
Absolutely.
Because then you're going to understand what's driving you.
Right. Because, I am a firm believer that we manifest whatever. Mind is the builder. I probably have said that on every other episode, I would imagine. But, but what are you feeding your mind,
That's true.
Yeah.
Your hamster wheel,
Yeah.
you could be negative or positive. You got to feed your hamster.
Wait, what? Say that again.
Your hamster, the crazy one that lives in your head and drives your thoughts all in different directions. You got to be careful what you feed it.
That's very, very
But you need
true.
to know what to feed it. But that's a really good point because, like you said, you could get a job and then you think, oh, if I get this, then I'll be happy. And then most of the time you're not. And so you've gotten there and you're like, why am I not happy?
Right.
But it's understanding what you're really hoping to achieve in that moment. And if maybe it is you want the respect of your staff or whatever. Well, if it is respect, then you're going to need to focus on building that with your team. Mm-hmm. The money will be nice.
Yeah.
But if it's really the respect, then you got to focus on building that.
Right.
And doing things daily, weekly, whatever, to foster that, to grow. And then you will be able to enjoy what you're building.
Absolutely. And the more specific you are, the more you're able to work toward, like you said, work towards that and achieve it in a quicker
And maintain it.
Absolutely. That's even
Because
more
it's not
important.
just about achieving it, it's about maintaining it,
And
creating
happiness.
it, and allowing it to be.
Right. Absolutely. I think that that's a very good point. And about feeding your mindset. I mean, you're almost manifesting a mindset. And I think
like that.
too we have to that
You're like,
makes
oh, I
sense.
said that.
Yeah. Okay. We can work with that. But I think so often we get on these paths and we're like so focused and we're driven and we're like, things are going exceptionally well, and then we fall into bad, like old habits and whatnot. And so we have to be aware. I love what you said about what you feed your hamster, because we get caught up in either social media or, media in general, politics, whatever it may be. And sometimes that's feeding your hamster, and that's feeding your energy. And so there's nothing wrong with taking in all different,
Sure.
emotions and feelings but
Don't let it veer you off your course.
Right. I think that's very, very important. So,
Very cool.
yeah.
I think we should
Leave you with
make
that.
a plan to go manifest our mindsets.
Well, we actually are. Duh.
We are.
Oh, throwing you under the bus.
What?
Okay, so we got to tell them about what happened.
That is so rude.
No, it's not rude. So, we are going to plant us, Spiritual Highways and Cleanse Boutique are teaming up, and we are going to do a spiritual wellness retreat. Mm-hmm. And we've actually got plenty of participants, and if you're interested, please send us an email, and we'll put you on the list. But we're looking for a location. So I call Michelle, or one of us calls Michelle and says, hey, we need to have a meeting about this retreat. We even discussed dates.
No. Okay. How it was phrased, in my defense.
Okay. I probably did not
We
send
need
a
to
text.
plan. No, it wasn't you. We need to plan a girls' weekend. So I'm like, heck yeah. But it wasn't planning just a
thought it
girls'
was a
weekend.
retreat.
It was creating a girls' weekend.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, wait, we're working this?
Wait, no. So we go to dinner. We are having this meeting. And so we're all geared up, and we've found all these places. And Michelle walks in. She's like, wait, you mean we're not going on a retreat? We're like, create. I'm like, yeah. She's going. It looked like somebody ate her Cheerios, or her balloon just was like, she's like, no, don't get me wrong. I'm excited. I just was kind of excited about going on a retreat.
Like getting away. I mean, they'll still be getting away, but you know.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
It was
her
a little...
face. If we could have recorded that, I mean, it was amazing.
But it is going to be. I am very excited.
We're very excited. We're looking at the first week in May. We have everything already lined up except for the venue. So tomorrow we're
going to
Bay St. Louis area, and we're going to go check out a few areas, a few places while we're there. So as soon as we find the venue, then we'll be able to update everybody and post it and let you know what we've got up our sleeve. But we are very excited about it.
So I'm going on a girls' weekend, and whoever wants to come is welcome.
Okay. Hey, plan it. I'll show up.
No, that's how we're doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
in my mind. I'm still going on a girls' weekend.
Well, absolutely. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's...
Hello.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go if it wouldn't be fun.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Me, fun. Yeah. Circle.
Going.
Yeah. Going. Happening. So, yeah. So I just had to throw under the bus a little bit because it was so funny. It really was. Michelle. Wait, we're not going. Oh, okay. All right.
There's work.
She's like, I might need a minute. To
I made some chips and salsa. I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be with you guys in a moment when I finish processing the fact that, yeah. But no, we're excited. So, anyways, we'll give you more detail as it comes about.
Yeah, maybe next episode.
I'm hoping we
that'd
find
be
a
good
place.
to
That would be wonderful.
Get that nailed down.
So, yeah. I'm excited. So.
All right, guys.
Well, all right. Well, I hope I won't see you again.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Spiritual Highways podcast with Leigh Ann and Michelle. Catch up on past episodes at spiritualhighways.com, on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, and more.